Hi, I'm Nick.
Hi, I'm Shane.
Nick.
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 Shane.
Hey, everybody out there, right? I know you guys are grooving to that. We didn't get canceled. Welcome.
We didn't get canceled. It was close. It was close.
Working out with the producers, and thankfully we're on the air here. So welcome everyone to the Nick and Shane Show. Hi, I'm Nick Wildstar.
Hi, I'm Shane.
That guy over there.
Yeah.
We appreciate you for being here on the Nick and Shane Show, all of you out there watching. So please definitely be sure to comment or ask us a question during this chat to let us know you're alive and breathing and are interested in what we're talking about here today, because we actually don't know what we're going to be talking about. How about you, Shane? What would you like to talk about?
So let's take a look at headlines. Let's see if there's anything worth looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And where are you, the Fox, right? We're gonna check out Fox headlines.
Yes. So,
Okay.
Something that we started here on the Nick and Shane Show is actually going through these news outlets, seeing what they're talking about. So we do something called headline hunting, just to kind of go through those headlines and discuss them better in detail. So last time we did Drudge Report, and this time we're going to do Fox News. I'm just queuing that up here and getting it ready.
And I don't know if we're going to go into more detail. We're just going to go into more detail on our opinions about these stories.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we'll see what they have to say, because it's so much craziness. It's like they make stories out of things that should not be newsworthy. We already figured that out. We call it fake news, misinformation, whatever the case you want to call it. But every news outlet seems to do that to some degree, whether it's Fox News, CNN, ABC, Drudge Report, whatever the case may be. Whole lot of bullshit out there that they try to get our attention turned towards, when really we should be focusing on not on any of it at all. I mean, I know there are matters of concern that we should definitely, take into account. But like this one right here. What's that?
So we're on. This is the Fox News page, right?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I understand this, right? This
Yes.
is the.
He's like, I've never been to this before.
I haven't been to it in many years. It's been a long time. So this is their news page. So if I go there, these are the first things that I see. These are the most important pieces of news that I should know, according to Fox News.
Everything out there that's going on in the world, these are the most important stories on the front page. So starting with Biden's Supreme Court pick right here, the Supreme Influence. Since I guess there's an issue with Joe Biden considering, electing a black person, a black woman, excuse me, according to his news conference, to replace a Supreme Court official that's going to be stepping down. So this is really important news, according to Fox News, to where it's the first story on there.
That's so important. Can I give my knee-jerk reaction to that headline?
Sure, give it to me.
Who cares?
Who the
that
fuck
is that is the death throes of a crumbling behemoth monster that is just falling apart.
Mhm.
The whole federal government is if it's anything legitimate at all, it's a legitimate joke.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Right? These people are.
I can say this: Biden made it a joke to, nominate a black woman to the Supreme Court by coming out and saying, hold on, we don't want to get dinged for that, by saying, I'm going to elect or nominate a black woman for Supreme Court justice. Why didn't he just say, I'm going to look through all of the candidates, all of the people qualified, and then just do it without saying it? It would be an even greater statement if he just did it. It said,
Wait a minute.
This woman is the most qualified, you know what I'm saying?
So wait a minute. Are you saying that it's degrading perhaps to single out a specific race and a specific sex before anybody else? That's not dignified. That's not a good thing to do. I'm shocked.
I know, right? As a black man saying that, I can't believe it's appalling.
These guys, look, but here's the problem, man. Republicans, Democrats, and look, honestly, I'm a white guy and I'm saying this, but if I'm a black man, I would be pissed because everything either of those parties do is just taking advantage of the token black guy or the token black chick
exactly.
that like lends their story to the narrative they want to sell.
Right.
It's
and they love to run up on the scene and champion for who they think is the underdog.
Yes.
And if you really want to talk about how we're equal already, that shouldn't be the case.
Right.
If we're a nation of equality and fair and balanced, et cetera, if we're already supposed to be that, like a lot of people say, racism doesn't exist. Well, then why are they making things about race as if it fucking matters? If like you said, it would be pretty much better if he just came right out and did it versus insulting black people by saying, you guys get underserved, underrepresented, et cetera, which we already fucking know.
Right.
But the way that you could balance it out is not making it about race, because that kind of stokes the flames of the racists out there, the people that see a problem with, integration or, elevation of one race above the other or whatever ethnicity, because we're all humans. That's the real race, the human race.
Right. And here's the danger and stupidity of actually doing that is that he already, right, has the discrimination of woman and black. But what if he would throw on something random? Right. Throw on she drives a Tesla or a Leaf, an electronic vehicle, right?
A Prius.
Right. So now people who drive Priuses are actually, right, they've gone from being tree huggers save the earth. Now they're a special class of people too.
Right, exactly.
But especially black female Prius drivers. Whoa, man. Now that's a Supreme Court
justice.
That's
a good point. If they can dissect it however they want, they can further divide us into subgroups, subcategories as people, instead of speaking and treating us in a more unifying manner.
Yeah. And by the way, we don't need them to do it. We do it just fine on our own. It's what we do that. It's our nature. It's pathetic and sad, but it's true.
Yeah.
They exploit it.
They exploit it, exactly. And it's definitely not a characteristic of leadership. You know what I mean? They use it as a political, like, hot potato to kind of throw back and forth between the two parties to say, look at, we're doing more for this group versus the other, instead of focusing on the American people as a whole,
Right. But now guess what happened, Nick?
What's
what happened? You and I, look what just happened. We're victims here. This is we went to Fox News. We went to Fox News, and the first thing we're talking about is race and sex and Republicans and Democrats. I'm already bored with us. I want to.
I think
right.
that's why a lot of people are turned off to Fox News is because it is that boring.
What's the next headline? Is this Biden, Putin, and we're going to scrap it out in Ukraine?
Yeah, they got a little sub stories here. Georgetown law dean blasts appalling tweets by incoming professor about race. Basically, more race stories, I think.
Good.
Gingrich, Biden gets to nominate. He does not get to approve SCOTUS. Okay. Matt Walsh, isn't it illegal to rule out SCOTUS candidates based on race? So just more cat fighting about that issue. But yeah. Next one, Biden signals plans for U.S. troops as Russia boosts military around Ukraine. Now, this is actually funny to me. All right. Let me tell you why this is funny, Shay. Didn't we just leave Afghanistan, like pack up and leave without question? You know what I'm saying? Because of the coronavirus crisis and telling people to stay home and that we need to be protecting each other by socially distancing, not seeing friends, not seeing family members. That it's for the greater good for us to get injected with mRNA technology to alter our DNA. But yet at the same time, they also think it's okay for Americans to position themselves on the other side of the planet, pretty much, somewhere where no Americans are, to protect land that is not American land, to protect interests that is not the interests of the American people.
Yes.
This is our president here, Joe Biden.
You know what though? But in all reality, right? It's not our president here. It's our system, and it is way bigger than a president. Look, if it wasn't this exact thing, it would be some lunacy with China under Trump that would be going on, right? It would be Taiwan. We'd be on the precipice of war with China over Taiwan.
Right.
Look, man, here's the thing. They've got a position and they've got to stage war, and they've got to look, they may actually have to go to war. There's too much money.
Mm-hmm.
There's too much money. And they're in trouble, and the only way that they can get themselves out of the trouble that they're in is to soak that money up.
Yeah, wars are also a distraction.
They're a huge distraction.
With everything that's going on in the world, I'm pretty sure all eyes would be on this conflict, which it already seems to be turning that way. Which
is hilarious. Because the conflict is stupid, and if it happens, well, then good chance we're all screwed. And then why are we wasting time on this now? We should be living our lives to the nth degree before they're over.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So blah. So if
you did bring up a good point. Yeah, you did bring up a good point about how they're kind of picking the war of choice based on the political season. This year it's Russia. Last year was North Korea. A year before that it's Iran or China, like you said, when Trump was in office. And that's the one thing about, news outlets like Fox News, is you can tell they kind of throw gasoline on the fire. Like with this issue with Russia, if it was Trump, the headline would probably read different to where he's promoting what he's doing.
So let me jump in on your analogy here, right? So we're are we about halfway down the page here on this first page for Fox News?
Not even.
All right, but now we're into little stories that are sub-headlines.
Yes.
These are all sub-headlines. All right. Yeah. So the fact that we're just now getting to the sub-headlines and we haven't actually gotten to any real news yet. And I'll give you an example of real news, right? The fact that we haven't gotten to any real news yet tells you everything you need to know about the legitimacy of this news organization, in my humble opinion. And if Fox News is the news channel of the conservative and is the news channel of the little guy and is the news channel of getting the truth out there, why is there not a single mention? Why is not the leading story on Fox News, right? The 70,000 truck large caravan that's going across Canada right now, right? Why are they not talking about the fact that Caravans? I learned this today. So the Caravans Facebook page, it hit 660,000 users, and then Facebook deleted it, canceled it.
What's Caravan?
It's a caravan. So up in Canada, Justin Trudeau passed the law or did a mandate, the same as Joe Biden did, saying that if you're going to go back and forth across the border, right, you've got to have a vaccine. Mandated the vaccine for truckers. Well, truckers up in Canada have said no. Yeah. And so, so dude, 70,000 trucks are making their way this whole week. So you can imagine what that's going to do to the supply chain.
Yeah, absolutely.
Down the road, we're going to feel this badly. Yeah. So Facebook canceled their page. Then this lady that set this whole thing up, she was a trucker who was pissed off and had an inspiring, Facebook thing or Twitter thing that she did, and people jumped on board. So she started a GoFundMe page. She tried to raise $6 million was the goal to pay for all the gas for all these truckers to do this. Well, they got to 5 million, and then GoFundMe, for whatever reason, has shut their account down.
Wow.
Closed their account. It gets even better, man. The government of Canada is turning off the highway camera feeds where the caravan's at. So you can't, they're just pretending like it's not happening. And the one mention of it that I've seen in the media is that the truckers are really upset about the dangerous and icy conditions that they've had to deal with this year.
Wow.
That's how the news is reporting it.
Yeah, they're totally blacking out the story. They don't want us to know about it. Because then it would be obvious that all of our supply issue problems are being manufactured. And that's the real reason why, goods are costing more at the store. And why you go to some stores and, the shelves are empty.
Oh, yeah, man. Shelves are empty all over the place right now.
All over the country.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that is because, like you said, our elected officials, people that we hired, with our vote, are doing this. They're creating the atmosphere.
I really believe, Nick, that ultimately, because of the responsibility that we place on their shoulders as voters, I do believe that there is culpability at the elected official level. But the truth of the matter is that there is a machine in place that is moving, that I don't care who you elect, you will not turn the machine around. It has to self-destruct.
I'm actually glad that you brought that up, because one thing that libertarians seem to be in the belief that is, if a libertarian president were to get elected, they'd be able to counter against that machine. You don't think that's possible?
Nope.
Why?
First of all,
out there would love to know.
Yeah. So because I'll tell you why it won't work. First and foremost, we live in a time of instant gratification. We want what we want when we want it, which is typically right this second. I don't want to wait. None of us wants to wait. We want our solutions immediately. That's why we've grown to depend on government. And that's why everyone's so pissed off, because we've been waiting forever for a government solution to work, and it doesn't ever.
Right.
So naturally, everyone's pissed. Everyone's going to be skeptical. If a libertarian gets into office, it means enough people believe in the libertarian vision and believe that libertarian story that got him into office. That libertarian is going to make promises, and promises that, quite frankly, they're not going to be able to keep, because the reality of the environment in Washington, D.C. is not what we see on the news. It's not what we believe is happening there. It doesn't work the way that we were brought up that it works.
Right.
There is a club, and it's a small club, and we are George Carlin, right? We're not members.
Exactly.
Right. And so, no, there are machines at work and things at work, things in play. But look, you can do very libertarian things. You can govern from a very libertarian perspective. But will a libertarian president will no more bring libertarianism to the United States than Barack Obama brought an end to racism.
Oh, all right. So let me ask you this. Hypothetically,
Mm-hmm.
Let's say in 2012,
Mm-hmm.
Ron Paul actually did get elected president.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that he championed on was ending the Federal Reserve. And we know
Mm-hmm.
that's like the backbone of the deep state,
Right.
or this machine that, puppeteers our election of elected officials and the whole government body. So if he was to snatch off that spine, you still don't think, or number one, do you think he'd be able to accomplish that?
Again, I sometimes I turn to history for my answers to questions like this. And I look at every single president who has been assassinated or who has had an attempt on his life.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing they all have in common, they've pissed off the bank.
Yeah.
So you can imagine the president who gets elected on the promise of shutting down the bank, right? I'm not sure he makes it to inauguration. And I'm not sure he does either.
See, I'm being hopeful. I'm saying, he does live. They do survive. They are able to make it happen on paper. You know what I'm saying? All right, Joe Jorgensen supposedly, made the same pledge during her campaign for president, in 2020. So
look, and I'm looking at it from what I know today, right? I wouldn't even, as a libertarian myself, who despises the Federal Reserve and everything it stands for and does, I don't see a reasonable way of ending the Fed right this second, right? Like coming up in 2024.
mm-hmm.
There are many more higher priority things that I would focus on. All of them, by the way, undermining the Fed, right? But not actually going after the Fed in terms of eliminating it, because that ultimately is going to take an act of Congress, and you're never going to get. There are not enough. We don't have the. So one of the things that I would do, you want to attack the Federal Reserve, right? You make sure there's appropriate representation of we the people in Washington, D.C. And by that I mean no federal, nobody in the Congress, right, should be representing more than, say, 350, 400,000 people. That means Congress should have about 1,700 congressmen and congresswomen in it.
Yeah, it would expand tremendously.
That's right. And now you want to get stuff done in government. Now government will work like it's designed because there's actual legitimate representation of the people. Mm-hmm. Things will slow down, and you can rest assured that only the most important issues get rise to the top. The Federal Reserve being one of those most important issues. It wouldn't survive. If you had actual representation of the people in Washington, D.C., the Federal Reserve would be done in a heartbeat. And now I'm happy to say, as I'm slowly becoming a believer in crypto, I'm at least excited about it. There is a replacement, and it's every bit as fake and bullshit as the original, so it's exciting.
It's exciting right now because we're having the opportunity to control it while it's decentralized. When they're thinking of this central bank digital currency, CBDC, its actual term that our Federal Reserve officials are considering right now. So good point, Shane. If Fox News was really the conservative, wait, it's on this side actually.
That's all right. Yeah,
on this side of my computer.
Yeah, I'm below you on my screen.
Well,
right now I'm this guy.
There we go. Wherever up is down and down is up, or Fox News, wherever it is. It claims to be a conservative website, but yet we don't see anything so far as a frontline or front page news headline about our current economic status. So let's move down and actually see if they come up with something. So all next story over says, dad says school gave daughter gender counseling before suicide attempts.
You're not going to believe this. I just had a conversation on Facebook with some friends about this topic. There was a meme that was calling for more support from basically, let's let teachers have these conversations with our kids about suicide and about depression and about blah, blah, blah. And I said, no, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
There's a number of reasons and we can go through them, but I specifically said, right, ultimately, somebody's going to sue the school system for inadequately counseling or helping their child who ultimately commits suicide. And if parents are going to believe that the school has the authority, the ability, or even the talent to even touch that topic on an individual level with a child, with a student, right, that you have to assume a lawsuit is coming. That's the dumbest thing, right? And if a lawsuit comes against the school district, who pays? Everyone. In the immortal words of our ex-president, everyone pays bigly.
Yeah, I would relate it to, let's say, if a school official were to give a child relationship advice, in high school or something like that, and it led to them contracting a sexual transmitted disease or being pregnant, or expecting a child or something like that, those same type of consequences could definitely happen there, where they could be sued for inadequately providing that type of counsel to their kid. And it's insane that parents are expecting educators to wear all of these hats.
Right.
That's not their job. You know what I'm saying?
Not only not their job, they're simply not their. No, man, it's boundaries.
Yeah, boundaries. Where do you set the boundary?
Well, it starts with the parents. What the hell are your kids doing at school in the first place? But
they pay for it with their taxes.
They are, and yes, I know. I get reality. Yes, so kids have to go to school.
We paid for it, right?
Yes. Look, man, the fact that schools focus on anything other than basic curriculum, and I'm talking the basics like reading, writing, math, they offer nothing else. I don't know what.
I said science.
They don't offer science. No science in schools. That's such a look. There's certain things, right? There's some good stuff, right? Chemistry, physics. I think of those as more math topics, but they are science sided.
I loved my chemistry class.
Oh, chemistry.
I don't know. It was just fun experimenting on shit and learning about particles and
Well, yeah, you understand how all that stuff works and how it works together. Oh yeah.
So it was fun, but as far as applicable knowledge to day-to-day stuff, it's just, there's not really any relation there. I have a fundamental understanding of certain things, thanks to that. But overall, it hasn't really taught me much. I've learned more in my math class, believe it or not, that I hated so much. And it was just basically the basic arithmetic. The next class I think that helped me would have been economics class in high school, where it challenged me to start thinking about how money works, where money comes from, how to utilize it, etc. So yeah, that's something that we definitely should be taught. It did not teach me about the Federal Reserve banking system, though.
No, not weird. They left that out.
Right.
they probably left out other little details like, America having an anti-Jewish immigration policy during and after World War II.
Right. They didn't talk about that in history class.
No, they didn't talk about it, which is weird because that's what led to the formation of Israel.
Oh, they don't talk about none of that.
They didn't talk about it. I had to learn that on my own.
All right. So let's move down the line because, of course, Fox News is bringing this up because they think that, they want to get their base riled up about elected officials being involved in the schools and how the school is being used to make our kids more liberal and leftist and whatever the case may be. And they're right, but at the same time, they're also saying we should take it over. And that's where I completely disagree. You don't want any elected official taking control over your educational system. Matter of fact, they shouldn't even be involved in it at all, you know? So get government out of school, we wouldn't even have this problem, you know?
I don't even understand, Nick. You're of course you're 100% right. I honestly, and feel free to throw if you're watching, throw a comment up, join us. But just anyone, I challenge you, name a single government program ever that has worked as promised. Name one. You can't. It literal 100% failure rate 100% of the time.
Yeah. That is true. And it makes the services that we ask for even more difficult. You know what I mean?
Well, why are we asking them for services?
Well, societally, we have a demand, and then we're thinking that the government should supply that demand versus turn it to the free market and letting them supply that demand. You know what I mean? Right. And that's my perception. Like somebody contacted me earlier talking about they didn't like my position on NFTs, you know, and I said, you know, it's crazy because your qualm with it is that rich people are in control of it. The monopolies are going to, you know, own it, et cetera, and you're expecting government to do something about it. Well, here's your opportunity to let the free market respond. You jump in it, you do something, you take away their power. That's what it's there for. The environment is ripe for the taking, for you to get your ass in there and say, no, this is mine, stake your claim, you know?
Yeah. That mentality, man, that just comes to, that's just, to me, I picture like a 5-year-old going, I don't understand it. Just take care of me. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Just take care of me. I mean, I can't do it.
That's pretty much what we're doing nowadays is, you know, adults becoming more childlike.
Without a doubt.
Expect the government to take care of us from cradle to grave. Let's see what more Fox News is talking about. Public university system takes big step toward banning standardized tests. There's another one pointing at the school issue, you know.
That's on par with 7-year-old figures out it hurts to punch yourself in the face.
I mean, why is standardized tests even important?
Because it's dumb.
It seems like that's something that we should care about, you know?
Standardized tests are literally as dumb as punching yourself in the face.
Absolutely. Yeah. But for some reason, these people need to be told that, you know?
They did. Look, they've had it for decades. They've been punching themselves and us as a result in the face for decades. So 7-year-olds, congratulations, public university, 7-year-olds are smarter than you.
I think the conservatives, quote unquote, or really neocons, like what Fox News is try to portray this image as if academia, you know, achievement really is the tell all to a person's character, you know. And if you take away standardized tests, if you take away the SAT, you know, if you take away the GED, we're just going to become this dumb populace of, you know, idiots. So why is it that they even want to take that position, you know, and create this sort of like moral compass when really, again, we should all have that choice. As a parent, I want to be able to say what, you know, type of tests my child may end up having to take, or how his education is evaluated, period. You know, we can homeschool him and shit. By the time he's 14, he could have the, you know, education level or understanding of a college student. You know, hasn't happened before. I mean, it's happened before tons of time in the past with people that have been homeschooled.
Of course. Yeah.
But yeah, but this way they want to dictate how smart or dumb are we based on their stupid tests.
Here's the thing. The whoever's been in charge of public education at least since 1980. Oh wait, that would be the federal government.
Right.
They've gotten it wrong every single step of the way. First by creating the Department of Education, and then literally everything they did after that only made it worse. The result is they have accomplished and achieved the very population they were hoping to avoid by selling us on the idea of public education.
Right.
We are now one of the, in many respects, we are very ignorant. We're very disconnected. We're very uneducated in many respects. In many respects, we're astronomically light years ahead of where we once were. But in many respects where it counts in a civil society, right? Most Americans don't even understand what a right is, let alone, what they should be learning in school or what, I don't know.
What the structure of our law system, law statutes and penal codes, and all of these things that are called laws that really aren't, that we're abiding by. I also think it's kind of funny that for this to be a conservative site, they're not making that correlation about how government's involvement in school has actually made it worse. It's made it more expensive. The college students that say, why the hell is tuition so damn high versus, when my parents were in school or my grandparents or whatever the case may be, is because government wasn't involved in school, our schooling system then. Yeah. Now they are. And now that's why it costs thousands of dollars. Well, let's move on.
Yeah, let's follow the news.
Man facing slew of charges for allegedly shooting 3 Texas police officers. All right. I guess we're getting juicy over here in Fox News because we're talking about police violence. And that's what they love to provoke, is that we need to be obedient to our law enforcers. Texas suspect charged with attempted capital murder after allegedly shooting 3 Houston police officers. It says here, aggravated robbery, I guess. So let's see. The suspect accused of shooting 3 police officers has been charged with 3 counts of attempted capital murder. No, don't do that. Houston Police Department said that Rolando Caballero has been charged with 3 counts of attempted murder, 1 count of aggravated robbery. He shot 3 officers following a pursuit. So
what did he rob?
Friday, officers Gadsden and Hayden were released from the hospital. Alvarez remains in the hospital. They're not really saying so far.
Unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon, as well as several drug-related charges.
The incident began when police responded to a 911 call about the suspect. Police located and pursued his vehicle after it crashed. The suspect fired multiple times. So it doesn't really say what he robbed. They're just saying it was a pursuit. They followed him. He shot back, and that's it. And in doing so, he shot 3 officers.
Did they get him?
Yeah, they got him.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he's in custody, according to this.
All the cops are going to live?
Let's see. Where was it?
I think there's already some that are going to be released. I saw that. 2 of them, I think, are being released.
Yeah, here we go. On Friday, the Houston Police Department announced that officers Gadsden and Hayden were released from the hospital. Alvarez remains in the hospital and is in stable condition. So,
okay. Yeah, okay. Can I break this down, man? This drives me nuts.
Give it to me, man. What you got?
Yeah. So first of all, nobody's going to read attempted. What they're going to read is capital murder in that headline.
Mm-hmm.
right? And as far as everyone's concerned, he's guilty right off the bat, and he may in fact be, but it is what it is, right? Capital murder right there. Yeah, except for no, it wasn't. Nobody was killed. You need a body. Right? It's just intellectual dishonesty through and through. You know, it's gross, man.
Absolutely. And he's a criminal. I mean, what the fuck you expect her to do to just be like, you're absolutely right. You got me.
Yeah. I'm going to give up.
Right. And your job as a cop, guess what? Is to chase criminals. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, why do you give people accolades for doing their fucking job? You know what I'm saying? It's like, if I take a job where I know I'm putting my life on the line, I don't need you to congratulate me for that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm getting into. I know what comes with the territory. The payoff itself is me going home every night to my family, A-okay. You know what I'm saying? And that's the best case for these 3 officers that actually were shot, because they do get to do that at the end of the day. You know, is go home and say, hey, I did my job. I lived through the day, and tomorrow I'll go out there and do it again. You know what I'm saying? And that's why they should be getting paid the big bucks when it comes to public services, you know. But is it something that as a community, we need 1 million people on the streets to do? You know, there were 3 officers that got shot by 1 guy, you know?
Right.
Why does there need to be so many that put themselves in harm's way? You know?
Well, because in every good action movie, you need henchmen to take a bullet. You need the extras, right?
Yes.
But
the Expendables.
The Expendables, exactly. Look, this is and by the way, I do think that's how officers are treated in many respects. That is
they are. Because if a police department was actually ran to keep the community safe, let's just be honest here. If that was actually what their job was, we would be making sure they're well trained. You know what I'm saying? To the best of their ability. You know,
they wouldn't enforce 90% of the laws they enforce.
That's another thing. They would not be enforcing petty ass bullshit, you know, driving without a seatbelt laws, you know, and you got your tail light out, or, you know, whatever the case may be.
Right.
You know, they would actually have an opportunity to be the investigators, you know, or detectives that they need to be, versus having it be so segmented. You know, the flatfoot cop is not the detective. The detective is not the police chief. You know, the police chief is not the commissioner, you know, and it's like everything is so compartmentalized instead of them actually working together to solve crime, to stop crime.
Yeah.
Did they stop this guy? They didn't stop him, whatever crime he committed, you know?
No, that's what the police, okay. So first of all, let's bust that myth wide open. Police do not prevent crime. Anybody who's listening, watching, who can hear me, if my neighbors can hear me, police do not prevent crime. If they did, right, every time 911 picked up the phone, the first thing they would hear is, what the, right? Where were you? You dropped the ball on that one, asshole. That guy just robbed me.
Exactly.
The police don't stop crime. However, the police should be appreciated. Hey, TJ Shelton, what's up, man?
I'm in here. Let me see. Oh, right. Yeah, you're right. What's up, TJ in the house? Thank you for being here.
Yeah, man. So I forgot what I was saying. But anyways, I was going on some rampage.
You were talking about your neighbors, telling them about how people think that cops stop crime.
Yes,
you know?
They don't stop crime. No, there's no such thing as cops that stop crime. They may deter it by being a presence, but they don't stop it. But my whole thing is this, is that cops still deserve the appreciation. There's a lot those guys do. For instance, chasing this guy, this lunatic, right? And let's assume that this story's true, right? This guy committed some kind of crime, right? These guys chased him. He gets out of their car and shoots 3 of them. Dude, you can't pay me enough. No, I don't want that job. And yeah, I respect anybody who's willing to do that job. And I appreciate anybody who's willing to do that job. and I honor somebody who's willing to take a bullet and do that job.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that I see someone like that as a valuable human being. And because of that, I would never, ever ask them to continuously and needlessly put themselves in harm's way by
Right.
enforcing laws that necessarily put them at risk.
Right.
Leave people alone. Stop doing things. If you need to pull someone over for speeding, do it. I'm all for it. Safety first, right, kids? Don't steal their money. How about that? Right? The natural consequences, you were speeding, now you're stopped. Thank you, TJ. He came in, the Canadian truckers. We were talking about that, man.
Fox News is not talking about that.
Fox News isn't talking about it.
But thank you, TJ, for bringing up what Fox News has not.
Yeah.
We were talking about that earlier, though. Thankfully, Shay brought it to our attention.
Well, it just drives me nuts, man. The absolute blackout. And again, just a quick recap, TJ. I hit on the fact that Facebook shut their page down at 660,000 people. That the GoFundMe has closed down their account. They got $5 million. Fox isn't covering it at all, man. I'm not seeing it. Maybe you can see, Nick.
Let's do like a lightning round since time is kind of picking up here. All right. So next one down the list. NYPD commissioner honors detective killed in line of duty. Okay. What's that? Not safe anymore. Window of slain hero cop had choice words for Democrat DA at husband's funeral. Some more cop news stories. Psaki's interview, or Saki, I don't know how to say her name, interview on Liberal Network quickly takes unexpected turn. So they love it when the left, kind of does their infighting just as the right does.
Okay.
So they're talking about how MSNBC had on Psaki, and they had this exchange back and forth about the filibuster. But yeah, it's actually good, I believe, to actually see networks coming out and criticizing, the candidates that they promoted, Biden and Kamala Harris and the Democrats, or whatever the case may be. So it's great that it's actually falling apart right before our eyes. They're not going to show it.
You got to get through the ads, man.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want that.
Yeah.
We don't want to get a strike.
Yeah,
Fox
TJ.
Nope, not yet.
Nope.
Don't see it here. We'll see if we get down to it though. But anyways, next one down. Or Shane, did you want to say something about that?
About what? About Psaki?
Yeah, I guess any one of these that we went down so far in the lightning.
Literally none of them matter.
Okay. Next one. Dad says school gave daughter gender counseling attempts. Hold on. Where did it go? It disappeared. All right, there we go. That one's this one here. Dad says school gave daughter gender counseling before suicide attempts. I think we already discussed that one. I think they're updating too. That's what it's doing.
Oh.
But yeah, so that's why it's loading. But it hasn't popped up yet.
It updated and didn't make news.
New York Giants hired Brian Dabble, Bill's offensive coordinator, as head coach. So if you're a sports fan, there's some news for you. I could care less about sports. There's a big distraction.
I agree. It is.
Dad says school gave daughter. Oh, we already said that one. They just moved this.
It's like that keeps popping up for some reason. That's weird.
Right? They really want us to talk about that. They really think it's an important story. Yeah. Anyways. Texas law enforcement officers killing results in charges against 5 more people. Yeah, another cop story, I guess.
Yeah,
pretty much. Biden arrives in Pittsburgh as bridge collapses, exposing his infrastructure law as Orwellian lie. I haven't heard about this bridge collapsing. But as far as the infrastructure, American infrastructure is concerned, our tax dollars have been used for so long on supposedly modernizing it. How much better have our roads been? I don't think that this bridge collapsing is simply because of Biden not stepping up to the plate.
He, I don't. Look. What is Biden supposed to do?
He's supposed to be Superman and go in there and hold up the bridge.
I know many Republicans who would have appreciated the effort, but I don't. What is the expectation here? Look. When I hear that we need to invest in infrastructure, dude. When that is said, and when government invests in infrastructure, the opposite always happens. The outcome is the infrastructure is going to be in even worse shape. 50 or 150-year-old bridge, he didn't know. Yeah. To Chantel's point, Chantel is right. And it's not the Biden thing. The bridge, what did Biden know about the bridge? It's dumb luck and it's crappy. And I don't know what the article says, but the headline already annoys me because it's bleh.
They want you to blame that Biden for everything bad that happens.
It's nonsense.
Anyways, next one down the line: pregnant man, pregnant person emoji coming to Apple iPhones.
Good.
That's
good.
What this says.
I'm glad.
Because
I'm glad. I'm going to use that emoji a lot. Thank you, Apple. Thank you, iPhone.
Right. And
thank you for providing us with entertainment.
You know what's funny? Okay, my wife and I, we actually realized this, okay? Because you know how they talk about these emoji updates and how they added so many and how they're diversifying it to show men, women, persons, all of this other stuff. There aren't any black ones.
Dude, you know what one of my favorite emojis is?
What's that?
One of my favorite emojis is the Black Santa.
Oh, really?
I use that emoji all the time. Oh, yeah.
There's third ones. Like we look for under family, and under the family emoji, there isn't a black family. They have a they family. They have a little white boy and a little girl. They have two boys. They have two girls. They even change up the parents, whereas, two guys and two girls,
Right.
But yeah.
I just texted you. Look at that damn thing. It's phenomenal. White people don't know what to do when I send that to them. Dude, they're just like flummoxed. Like, they can't cope. Dude, it's like, first of all, right, there's the cognitive dissonance that Santa's black.
Yeah,
second of all, right, am I allowed to send that? Is that racist that I did? Like, dude, I get like, oh yeah. Oh yeah, man, it's on your phones. You can do it.
So yeah, we like the Black Santa.
Oh yeah.
If you said the Black Jesus, they haven't added that one yet.
But dude, and that's not right, dude. How can you have pregnant man before you have Black Jesus? I think.
Ask Fox News. All right, next one. Public university system takes big step toward banning standardized tests. Yeah, we talked about that. Who cares? Jesse Waters says Biden is running a human smuggling operation.
I don't know what the context is, but I believe there are enough Republicans out there who would just read the headline and assume that Biden is actually running a human smuggling operation and that he needs to be taken down, and that there's a child molester in the pizza shop in the basement and all that, right?
Exactly. You know what's crazy is we talk about this whole we care about the kids and the Save the Children movement and all of that.
Oh wait, I'm being corrected, Nick.
What's that?
Well, Chantel says
he kind of is. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, they all are.
Well, let's look at this. Let's look at what is Jesse Waters. What was a human smuggling operation?
Conspiracy theories. He asked about foreign interference in elections. I guess whoever this guy is, Jesse Waters, he's dissecting President Biden's immigration policy, as well as other stuff. He said he's running a human smuggling operation. The cartels no commercials or we get a strike. The cartels hand migrants to Biden at the border, and then Biden puts them in buses and planes and then just sprinkles them all over the country. It's happening right in front of our own eyes, he added. So they're bringing this up as a border issue. Chantel said he is moving hundreds of men, not women and children.
He's moving hundreds of men, not women and children.
Shall I say not just women and children? Yeah, I guess, to be politically correct. But
so how does this make Biden different than any president prior to him?
Right. Yeah. And when it comes to the border, and that's what they're trying to, I guess, kind of accentuate here and talk more about, is that Biden is bringing over illegals and spreading them across the country.
Oh my God. And then that's where people are getting this interference in our elections.
Yep.
That they're saying that, the left, that the Democrats are bringing in illegals because illegals vote for Democrats.
Right, exactly.
And
well, Biden brought us in, so why not vote for him?
That is where, I wondered, man, because I've heard people say that before, and I always wondered, like, where do they get that idea from?
Fox News.
But it's insane. Look, everyone, let's put this out there, right? Immigration is always a net positive for a population economically. Let me repeat that. Immigration, right, is always a net benefit for a population economically.
You're gonna have the red hats contacting us, pissed off, talking about we support illegals coming into our country.
We
support open borders.
Yeah, let me. Do they get free housing? Do you get free housing, Chantel?
Right.
if anybody's getting free housing, I'd like to know about it. I would like some free housing. But I don't think anybody's getting free housing. And I think if people are getting free housing, those of us who are paying for our housing would look at their housing and going, no, that's a prison, not a house.
Yeah, and there's even homeless people that aren't getting free housing.
Exactly.
They don't want to have to deal with the government bureaucracy, so they'd rather sleep on the street than deal with this free housing being offered. Our military veterans don't even get this free housing. So, Chantel, there's a few holes in your argument there.
Yeah, and it's not. But here's the thing, though, right? It's not her argument. She's only saying the things that she's heard and been told and has encountered in her life. I mean, she can only speak to her experience.
Right.
So from that standpoint, right? Like, I totally get it. So it's not personal, Chantel, that we disagree with you, but we do in principle. A couple of things to consider. Number one, if immigration is something that concerns you, I would highly encourage, there's a book, it's free online, called Economics in One Lesson. And so, great, you do a lot of data collection. Fantastic. Then economics will be right up your alley. So there's a whole chapter on immigration and how it is proven over and over. Her take on these issues outside of politics. Okay. All right. Well, anyhow, from an economic standpoint, and from an Austrian economic standpoint, and therefore a libertarian standpoint, we're all about the immigrants coming. We love it. They're what keep the country moving forward. Believe me, Americans who have been spoiled their whole lives are not going to keep this thing rolling.
Right.
Welcome, immigrants. Get in here.
So when we talking about making America great again, we're talking about diversifying our nation, utilizing the best of the situation, because the best of the brightest from all over the world are attracted to America. That's what makes us stand out above the rest,
Yeah.
you know.
Yep, and wonderful. And Chantel, we may be just missing each other here just because it's text and we're talking. But yeah,
friend is illegal.
good. So Chantel, just so you know my take on it, right? I don't believe people can't be illegal. They're human.
Right.
Right? It's not illegal to be a person. And so yeah, man. I have a whole thing on that, but at the end of the day, I understand the fear and the need to maintain the machine, and that we're scared of people coming in and taking our free stuff that we were supposed to be free to us and not to anyone else. And but at the end of the day, man, it's such an inhuman, disgusting stance to take that there should be a wall, or that these people should be deported or sent back. I will never wrap my head around it. I understand the need and the desire to protect our stuff, but these are actual human beings. They're like real people that need actual help, that are running for their lives, trying to find something better for themselves. And because they're potentially impeding on your access to free shit, you want to build a wall?
Let me ask you a question.
That's a punk perspective, in my opinion, to take.
Agreed. I'm gonna ask you a quick question in response to that, and then we're gonna wrap things up because we're actually over time. We don't want to lose our sponsors, you know. So Chantel says, while when he was sick and in the hospital, that is what he was.
Yeah, that's so disgusting. I'm sorry that was his experience.
Yeah.
Gross.
All right. So quick question. You just said about how, you know, the people that think anybody coming here without getting permission first is considered illegal, and we shouldn't have walls protecting or keeping them out, and it doesn't really protect us in that sense. I get approached with people saying, well, if that be the case, do you have a fence around your house? Can I just come into your house and, you know, invade your property, your privacy? That's how they look at it. So what would your response be to that?
So the response, their argument is, well, do you have a fence around your house? So they're equating your private home ownership and private property to the nation being private, as though there's some segment of our population that owns the nation. You idiots. That's not even a good argument. Nobody owns the nation. Good God. Next, please.
All right. Well, you heard it here, people out there. Fox News lovers that think that immigration issue is all about illegals or whatever, and we should be building walls. Chantel, I'm glad you don't believe in walls.
Yeah, and thanks for joining too. By the way, always feel free to join the conversation. I don't know if we mentioned it at the beginning, Nick, but
yeah, I apologize. Yeah, we started a little bit late, and we're a bit discombobulated, but we forgot to tell all of you out there that if you wanted to jump into our show, you were able to click on the link to do so. Do that next time. Definitely. I guess overall rundown of Fox News is it's just more toxicity for your brain.
Right.
You know, it doesn't really have any substance. We saw that a lot of the stories were even repetitive and had the same theme, you know, and that's a telltale sign that you're being programmed to think a specific way about a particular issue, you know. So if you want to have a more well-rounded view, you know, if you want to watch Fox News, cool. But look at CNN, look at ABC, look at, you know, RT News, look at Al Jazeera, you know, look at all of the news and come up with an opinion for yourself. You know, that's the best way.
If you want to be informed and you want to make a difference, look out your window and do something about that.
You're right. Exactly. For sure. And I think that's where you can make the most impact and show the news what really matters. It's the stuff going on right in your own backyard. Yeah.
Yeah.
TJ likes RT. Thank you very much, TJ. And thank you, Chantel. This other guy, I don't know what he said, but or even if that's a real language or whatever the case may be.
Actually, that's actually Vladimir Putin, and he was just telling us, "Good job, thank you guys."
That's true.
Russian for that's Russian for "We'll bring you back for season 3."
All right, good to know. Well, you guys out there watching, we do appreciate you for being here. Please keep in touch with us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Connect with me at Governor Wildstar, all right? I'm going to keep you informed on everything Nick and Shane. Speaking of which, you definitely want to be sure to subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Click that bell, hit that notification. That way you can know when we're going to be dropping our videos every Friday right here on the Nick and Shane Show on YouTube. For now, you know, we got some things in the works we'll be talking to you about in the future. So you guys definitely want to stay tuned and to hear what we have in store for you.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be incredible.
Oh, hey, Butenfruden's back. Whatever this guy's name is. Von Rent, man. Von Rent. Von Rent to you too, my friend. Von Rent.
Absolutely, Russia, Ukraine, Australia, and so on. For sure. All right, all of you guys. We truly appreciate you for being here. And until next time, you guys take care. Much love to you all. Peace.
Hi, I'm Nick.
Hi, I'm Shane.
Nick.
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 Shane. Shane.
Nick.
Shane.
Nick.
Shane.
Nick.
Shane.
Nick.
Shane.
Hi, I'm Nick.
Hi, I'm 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 Shane.